Hey, thanks for clicking. People like you is what keeps this game alive, and it's awesome to hear that that's absolutely the case. I'll be checking it out for myself this weekend, so come join me next Saturday at 10 PM British Standard Time to see how the 360 folk represent. I'll be setting up some public lobbies and jumping in others, checking out the war effort on all fronts, so no matter your training, I may just bump into you. And we'll see if this old dog can still run with the pugs, or whether the pugs are just still running. War never changes, but how does the game? That's the Pug Life Loud stream, Saturday the 16th of April at 10 PM British Standard Time. Until then though, after this video you might want to check out my new series on the Binding of Isaac Rebirth. I mean, it's fair enough if it's not your sort of game. You've got to unlock a whole bunch of upgrades and characters in it and then find the best way to make them all work and synergize to of course get the best strategy down. I mean, that probably all sounds very alien to you, but it's not Mass Effect. It's just really fun in its own right. You can stay up to date on these matters by following me on Twitter at Bwnci, and a big shout out has to go to my boy Oscar Liljaby for his continued support. Now without further pressure, pause, let's get back to Mass Effect. Hey people, you're right to war. Hooray for Bluebees. We're checking out the Asari today, and this sleek little number is an adept with a weapon damage focus. Let's take a peek at that. Now, Stasis is what makes this girl special, even though I'm only going to recommend about 4 ranks of it. It's a hit scan attack that basically freezes the enemy still for you, so it's just perfect for lining up a good shot. I'm going to recommend you just get Duration at rank 4 and stop there, okay? Because Duration is going to improve the power combos you can produce with Stasis, because any enemy you catch with it is going to be primed for a biotic explosion. And Duration also just going to give you more options, alright? It may be beneficial to just sort of trap an enemy and leave them there if you're trying to extract or get a particular objective done. Although I do believe Stasis will only work 3 times per enemy, just something to keep in mind. It's certainly more valuable than the other option at rank 4, which is Stasis Strength, okay, which, you know, if you read the description, you could easily mistake this as a debuff, which vulnerability at rank 6 is, but we're not going that far. Stasis Strength just increases the tiny amount of damage you can do to any enemy before stasis breaks. Now, I know the tooltip for the power stasis says that the enemies will break out of stasis after they take major damage. It's not major damage. Okay, stasis breaks after the enemy takes about 150 damage to their red health bar, and that's it. Stasis Strength will knock that up to 225 damage, so it's really a crap, useless evolution, because you're not going to do such piddly damage to any enemy you're going to catch in stasis, especially if you build the girl this way. Her other powers then are Warp and Throw, an amazing combo, it really is, and we're actually going to use it this time. In fact, it's their existence here on this character that makes the Human Sentinel so redundant. You might want to check out my video on that character to see how I spice things up there, but you guys know how to build Warp, okay? For the first evolution, get Detonate, okay? So this is going to significantly increase the damage and range of our biotic explosions that we set up with this power, or Detonate. Warp does do both. For the 5th evolution, get Exposed. This is going to increase all damage done to the enemy we hit with this power. And finally, go ahead and get Pierce, because Warp innately weakens armor by 25%, and Pierce is going to weaken armor by an additional 25%, so you can basically half the effect of armor mitigation. All good things for our weapon damage, but Throw here is actually a really fast projectile that sends the enemy flying, and we can use it to quickly detonate the effects of our other 2 powers. How I'm going to recommend you build it is get Radius at rank 4. Okay, this gives the power a 2 meter impact radius, which is just great for making it hit far more reliably. The hit detection can get a bit wonky without this evolution, so I'm kind of always going to recommend it, but it is otherwise a really fast projectile that most enemies can't get out of the way of. But things get interesting at rank 5. You want to go ahead and get the Detonate evolution, because it's another 50% multiplicative bonus to our biotic explosion, so you can already see how combining this with Warp is absolutely devastating. And then finally, get Force and Damage at rank 6. Okay, this gives the power some insignificant damage, but the Force is amazing. Okay, this will give the power enough force to stagger any mook you encounter, and this kind of basically gives you a biotic concussive shot. Okay, it's really good for just being a safeguard if you ever find yourself in a pinch. Okay, you can just quickly knock any enemy surrounding you back with throw, but we're going to be generally using this to detonate biotic explosions in the gameplay. That and shooting stuff, so make sure you've got all the weapon damage bonuses in the passive tree. Make sure you've got weapon damage, headshots, and weapon damage, because her powers are good, but her power damage is crap. Okay, Stasis does just 25 base damage, which gets knocked up to 30 with this build, and Warp takes a whole 10 seconds then to do just 818 damage, or 1089 with these power damage bonuses we've got here in the passive tree. And, you know, those 10 seconds aren't what's represented by the listed duration at all, okay? That duration is there for the armor weakening and the debuff effect. It's just that 25% of Warp's listed damage is simply set to be distributed through 20 equal ticks, one every half a second, unless of course incendiary rounds are in use. But this is less than a third of an attack like Smash's damage, and it would take nearly 30 seconds to kill just a Gold Pyro's armor using Warp, okay? So it's really not great. And on top of that, throw then, okay? The only damage you're guaranteed with throw is just 50 at base, and then we got another 200 from the 6th evolution there, which ends up just being 300 damage in all from throw. It really, if you're going to hurt the enemy with this character, you're going to do it with a weapon. And that'll leave you with just enough points to get rank 4's durability in your fitness tree, although you may want to just get 3 ranks of stasis so you can get shield recharge as well, but you know, biotic explosions are also a great source of damage for the character. So much so that you might even be tempted to completely spec out a stasis and get all the health and shield bonuses in your fitness tree and just roll out with warp and throw, which is powerful but just dull, to be honest. I mean, any adept can do biotic explosions for you. If you want something a little special with your Asari Adept, I highly recommend using her stasis ability. It's a cool attack. And our carefully selected weapon here is going to take full advantage of it. The lady's choice is the arc pistol, but you know, since it was actually my choice, I guess I'm the lady? Femship forever. The arc pistol is sporting the piercing mod and heavy barrel, which is heavy only in name, because as you may or may not remember, all non-DLC weapons like the arc pistol here aren't affected by the extra weight, and the arc pistol is a hit scan weapon like most others, so it does pierce too. It doesn't shoot electricity really like it says in the description. This is absolutely the best way to mod the weapon. And completing this outfit, our consumables are warp rounds for the ammo bonus, a pistol rail amp or a targeting VI for your weapon bonus, a cyclonic modulator is absolutely what you're going to want for your armor bonus, and finally for your gear bonus, I'm going to recommend the pistol amp, although you may possibly prefer the vulnerability VI too. That's it for the build. Let's check out the gameplay. Okay, so it's me, Myth, Manny and Ghidorah taking on gold collectors on Hazard White. And yeah, Hazard White's not going to be ideal as a sharpshooter. I mean, the whole point in the Hazard here is to reduce your vision over certain distances, but it's kind of cool if you're still leveling up your character, okay, because playing on Hazard maps do grant you a 15% experience bonus at the end of the game, and these kind of XP bonuses do stack if they turn up randomly as an unknown map, for instance, but this limited vision's really not going to be a problem because we can absolutely stop everything with Stasis here. Stasis can basically tie down any target without armor and line them up for a prompt and well-deserved shot to the face, as you can just see. Stasis is hit scan attack, meaning there's like no travel time, so as long as the view between you and your enemy is completely clear, simply aiming at them and hitting Stasis will instantly stop them dead in their tracks, so you know, they can be dead in the head. And the arc pistol is absolutely amazing for getting that job done. Okay, the arc pistol is an amazing piece of kit, and its damage is just so much more accessible than most guns' its strength, which is greatly underrated, by the way, okay, because the damage per shot on the arc pistol is actually second only to the Executioner in the pistol category, and its DPS is only second to the Talon, an ultra rare, a damn good ultra rare. I mean, okay, it's third if you sort of don't ignore the most ideal circumstances for the suppressor pistol, but the real damage from the arc pistol comes from the gun's charged shot, because the charge shot is 9 times stronger than a regular one, and it's achieved by basically increasing the damage of every round by 300% and then firing 3 of them simultaneously. Okay, so there is some really massive damage you can do. I mean, if there isn't 3 shots left in your clip, the remaining rounds will still do. Well, they'll still be like 3 times stronger with a full charge. It's just obviously the most you can get out of this gun is like 9 times the damage. Okay, it's really, really good. And this charge damage goes even further with this build, because we are using warp rounds, and since charge mechanics like this work by sort of increasing the base damage of the weapon, this results in it actually increasing the damage that your ammo does too. Okay, so you're basically buffing both your weapon and your ammo damage by 900% with the arc pistol, which is pretty sweet. Almost as sweet as this sick maneuver I'm pulling off here, but I'll explain more about that later, because I'm on a roll here, guys. It's not just the ammo bonus that gets boosted by the arc pistol, but the fact that we're using Stasis to tie down the enemy first increases the ammo damage even further. Okay, because warp rounds have this thing called a biotic damage bonus. I think I did mention it before in the Human Adept build video. And basically what that does is it increases the damage your warp rounds do to an enemy if they're primed for a biotic explosion, which they absolutely are when they're locked down in stasis. And at level 4 in particular, the biotic damage bonus is at 100% strength. So this is going to be doubling your ammo damage, even after it's already been multiplied by the arc pistol's charge, okay? And you also can't forget that warp rounds come with a 2 times damage multiplier to barriers in general. That's just something they have innately. Okay, so we're fighting the collectors here. If they've got shields, they've got barriers. So we're looking to do something over 2,000 damage at this point with our warp rounds on our arc pistol. And this is even before the arc pistol's own damage is even registered. So you're never, ever going to need to have to worry about shield gate by an enemy protected by barriers. I mean, if you even need to worry about shield gate at all with the arc pistol, okay? Because with the charge up being made up of 3 separate rounds, only a third of the damage is ever affected by the shield gate mechanic, okay? Meaning that on like the highest difficulties, sorry, I got distracted by that upsetting death there. On the highest difficulties, if your shot is to like destroy the enemy's shield, just 1 round out of the 3 is going to be reduced by 75%, while the other 2 are going to remain completely unaffected and do full damage. And this goes for both your ammo and your weapon damage, okay? So you're really not taking that much of a hit when you're taking these shielded enemies out in 1 clean shot. And that's what the arc pistol will absolutely do for you. It's perfect for just quickly taking out anything you can stop in stasis, because not only is the gun super light to sort of keep stasis in circulation for you, but having the shot charged and ready to go before you even catch anything means you can just release it instantly the moment you do for that devastating headshot. I mean, you can even release a charge shot while you're actually performing your stasis attack. You can release a charge shot while you're doing one of your powers. And also, charging or like holding a charge doesn't affect your mobility in any way. So, you know, this isn't going to affect your ability to even find the enemy unless you like try to jump over cover. But you really don't need to run to cover against a frozen enemy. You can take out in a minute. I mean, should the enemy even survive the charge shot, which as you can see not many do, the arc pistol can still like quickly take out any enemy with a few quick rounds into like their crumpled corpse, because they do just crumble after they've you've reached that sort of breaking point with the stasis, which, as I told you, is 150 points to their red health bar. It's not a lot. But if they are crumpled on the floor, you can really just take advantage of the incredible rate of fire that's in the normal shot of the arc pistol, okay? Because if you've got the trigger finger, this gun fires at a rate that's just shy of the suppressor. And, you know, the suppressor is technically got a rate of fire equal to the Hurricane, if you're a machine, okay? I don't think any human being can actually pull the trigger fast enough to get to that point, but it is there. I mean, you PC guys can probably set up some kind of macro for that, but it's really good rate of fire. You can and you can just basically put as many rounds in as necessary to finish the job if the charge shot doesn't do that for you anyway. I mean, this is what I was just saying there. That's exactly the reason why you don't need that stasis strength evolution, okay? Because if you do hit them, you're easily going to do more than 150 or even 225 damage to their health, okay? I've just explained about the incredible bonuses that we're getting with our damage here, and you know, whether you blow them up with a powerful biotic explosion, which you're going to get from 4 ranks of stasis combined with our build of warp and throw here, and you can obviously use that if you need some little added crowd control, but obviously a shot to the head usually kills them because headshots, as you may or may not know, headshots are all weak points. Some enemies just have like weak points as opposed to just shooting them in where you would expect their head to be. These will multiply the sum total of your weapon damage further, okay? That's going to multiply. If you shoot a mook in the head, you've got like a 2.5 multiplier, and against bosses you've got a 1.4 multiplier for hitting their weak points, okay? With the Praetorian boss actually being an exception, as its weak point offers double or 2 times the damage if you can get past the faceplate it's got there to get at it, which is all the more reason to have piercing, okay, in that piercing mod. And thanks to the arc pistol's great ammo capacity, that's very easily made a reality, okay? Because we don't have to compromise the warp round bonuses at the same time, is what I mean when I say that. Because with like 18 rounds in the magazine, you've got 6 charge shots before you need to tap into one of like the biggest ammo reserves in the pistol category. So it's kind of like Paladin damage on a Carnifax budget is huge, okay? And it's generally good to have piercing anyway, though, because as I explained in the Human Soldier video now, you can obviously score multiple hits on certain enemies that are made up of lots of different objects, the Scion being one of them. As you can see, if I like shoot for his sack at an angle so I can get his head as well, that's 2 hits right there, because the sacks do pop as a separate object attached to his shoulder there. And also you can just blow through Guardians, okay? They can be a bit of a pain in the arse without piercing. And you can also get those pussies that are always like hiding behind cover, and because they're not really moving while they're hiding, that's another easy headshot for you. And, you know, for anything you can't stasis, that being your armoured enemies, there's warp and throw, okay, or warp and then throw. Because much like the Human Adept's warp and shockwave combo, this is another beastly biotic explosion due to all the huge multiplicative bonuses involved in it. I mean, the smaller armoured targets will probably just go down if you warp them and shoot them in the head, okay? Because warp has just enough force in it to sort of stagger any mid-tier enemies. I mean, failing that, you do have throw, remember. Throw will stagger any mook for you, and its speed and radius is going to be unlikely to miss. So, you know, if you really need that, if you need to get one of those enemies off you in a pinch, you can. Yeah. I hope you guys saw that. Myth offered me the spawn here so he can move the wave along faster, but I knew better. I knew he was following me right behind to try and waste one of my rockets. Nice try, buddy. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, staggering. Of course, you can just fall back on throw if you're ever in a pinch, but most of these small armoured enemies, you're going to be able to just kill by hitting them with warp and then shooting them in the head, okay? Because, there's really no reason not to follow any of your other attacks immediately with the weapon damage in the same way you're going to do it with stasis, okay? Because with warp and warp rounds 3 and higher, you can completely ignore armor mitigation and have the enemy prime for a biotic explosion to increase your ammo damage further, alright? And you've also got the debuff on the enemy as well. Let's not forget that, to sort of multiply your weapon damage against it too. So that usually kind of rinses your pyros, and your dragoons won't take much more than 1 or 2 shots, okay? However, the big boss enemies won't take much longer either if you just simply like cycle warp and throw and sort of keep plugging them with the charge shot during the, you know, the cooldowns. Because, you know, the bosses are big and most are slow, so their weak points are easier to hit. Plus, both your powers, you know, warp and throw, can be sort of curved around and over cover, so you never need to put yourself in their line of fire for long. And between the detonation bonuses, the combo's multiplier to armor, and the debuff from warp, there's some serious damage you can do with these biotic explosions. And yes, Warp's Expose evolution does work in this instance, okay? It is unlike other debuffs, as it explicitly claims to increase just weapon and power damage. But despite the fact that power damage bonuses have no effect on power combos, they still do inflict power damage. That is going to be boosted by the Warp debuff. It's the Expose evolution is simply going to have no effect on your ammo and melee damage. Not the end of the world. But also, when you're up against bosses, it's also worth noting that the Asari dodge is incredible, okay? It really doesn't hurt that it's so amazingly quick. It basically enables you to avoid most, if not all, boss enemy attacks. And the Asari's... what you need to know about it is the Asari's biotic dodge does cost a small portion of your barriers and resets your shield recharge time, but it'll let you move backwards without pulls for like a speedy retreat to cover, or as you saw earlier, and even like a speedy recovery of an object. Because as long as you sort of keep your head up and keep the item in sight, you'll see that prompt to sort of interact with it on screen. So you can basically continuously pick up the object and slide back with it by repeatedly dodging backwards. Okay, so she's another great character for us console players to get that retrieval mission done. But of course, as always, you don't just have to roll out with the arc pistol. Some of you may not have it, although it is far more accessible than some of the weapons I've recommended in the past. Here's some choices for you. If you just, she is an uncommon character, but I'm still going to recommend for your common weapons, if you're still only in that area, you can use the Mantis on her, okay? The Mantis isn't too heavy, and obviously it's a sniper rifle, so just great for popping the enemy in the head once you've got them locked down. But when you do start unlocking your uncommons, you might want to move up to the Raptor, okay? Because the Raptor is even lighter, and it works, it feels like a pistol, okay? It's really easy to use, and that'll work really nice with Stasis. But of course, Locust is an uncommon SMG with an increased headshot bonus. Okay, it's got a 3 times multiplier against mooks if you shoot them in the head with the Locust, and obviously you can get some nice headshots when they're in stasis. When you start unlocking your rares, though, you want to probably look at some of the other weapons with like a 3 times headshot bonus to mooks. Okay, the Geth Plasma Rifle is one, and what you can do with that is sort of plug elemental rounds into it, so you can also get some like tech combos on the go as well, so you can get the really easy fire explosions, because the Geth Pulse Rifle's got an amazing rate of fire. The Geth Plasma Shotgun's not a bad choice as well, okay, because not because it can score headshots, because it can't, but mainly due to the fact that it's a projectile weapon. So like the arc pistol, it's going to make sure you don't have to worry about shield gate. I'm going to try and revive Myth into this Praetorian here, but I think Ghidorah's going to spoil it here by gunning him down with a Revenant. Boo! The Growl, on the other hand, though, is the other rare projectile shotgun, and that does have a 3 times multiplier with headshots. And if you just sort of... and because they're like projectile weapons and they can't pierce, you've obviously got mod slots free there to sort of stick the ultralight materials on them and obviously get stasis working for you. Failing that, you can use something like the Carnifex. Pretty little good... pocket sniper. Suppressor. Okay, I've name dropped it enough. I think I'll actually talk about the suppressor for you. The suppressor's got incredibly low damage if you don't hit the enemy in the head, but if you do, the suppressor's got a 4 times headshot bonus. Okay, it's massive. Unfortunately, though, those kind of special multiplicative headshot bonuses only work on the mooks. You'll always only get a 1.4 multiplier against bosses. Its rate of fire, though, is well worth mentioning before I move on that. The rate of fire on the suppressor is also incredible, as I said, so that's going to help you get around shield gate, okay, because one shot doesn't matter when you can get so many shots out so quickly. But if you sort of plug the cranial trauma system onto it, it's a special pistol mod, which provides another special multiplicative headshot modifier. You can actually increase the damage of your headshots with the suppressor to a massive 5.6 multiplier, okay, and that's when it's at level 5. But like I said with the bosses, okay, because you will only ever get the 1.4 headshot multiplier on them, you will probably need to carry another weapon to deal with bosses, probably one of the SMGs, okay, so you can keep your character light as well. But the Executioner is a real pocket sniper, okay, that thing hits hard if you can get it to hit, and you should get it to hit when the enemy's in stasis. The Collector Sniper Rifle is another sweet, fairly light sniper rifle that can help you put elemental rounds into the enemy as well as gun them down when they're like locked down. Keyshock's another. Okay, Keyshock's another sweet sniper rifle. You can really get the best out of it with enemies that aren't moving. Okay, and the fact that the Keyshock's pretty heavy, but you've got the extra range to sort of cover the extra weight there. When you're lucky enough to get some of the ultra rares, though, some more sniper rifle options like the Indra and Valiant are great, okay, because they're pretty light in all fairness. Paladin is a little pocket sniper rifle, probably less cool, honestly, than the Executioner pistol and the Arc pistol, that's for sure. That's why I'm not using it, but the Talon is an amazing pistol. It does have that multiplier to shields and barriers, so that's not going to suffer shield gate either. I mean, even if it did... it shoots pellets like a shotgun, so only one pellet's ever going to be have its damage reduced. Myth decided not to tell me about that Praetorian there. Thanks, buddy. Almost got taken out. But the Wraith is an amazing shotgun. You can absolutely roll out on this character because it's high damage, very light, and yeah, it's so... what's the word I'm looking for? It works on so many kits, the Wraith. But Valkyrie is another weapon with a 3 times headshot multiplier, but that's probably the heaviest you'd want to go on this character. And of course, the Carrier works on everything. I'm going to try and spit out your sort of consumable options now. Yeah, for your ammo bonus, Warp, okay, I've told you about all the bonuses there, but Phasic, if you haven't got that, because the Phasic rounds do... 10 times their listed damage against shields and barriers. Okay, so shield gate's just going to be a non-issue for you. Disruptor, if you haven't got Phasic, okay, because they do a 4 times damage to shields and barriers. There's Incendiary rounds you can plug in, obviously, for the glitch. Check out the Human Sentinel for more information on that if you want to cheese your bosses super quickly. And there is Cryo, okay? Cryo will help you deal with armor mitigation in a similar fashion to how Warp rounds do. But what's also worth noting is that Throw deals twice the force to frozen targets, so you can sort of get that synergy going. But ultimately, she's a weapons character with biotic powers, so get armor piercing or drill on her if you're not going to use elemental rounds. For your armor bonus, I do highly recommend the Cyclonic Modulator. Despite how nimble she is and how much control she's got on the field, she can't take a hit. Okay, so Cyclonic's going to keep you alive. If you haven't got Cyclonic, shield power cells will work because of everything I just said. Okay, she can get out of the way and get out of trouble and get her shield regenerating really fast. And obviously an adrenaline module could help you do that too. Power efficiency, if you're going to take like one of the heavier weapons I've recommended though. And for your gear, you want to either have like a weapon, shield, or power recharge bonus. Okay, but that's the Asari Adept, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Please drop us a like and a comment if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already for more in the future. It's been beautiful, guys, and I've been Bwnci. Let's do it again sometime.